Welcome back, everybody. Yes, there are only two faces today. My beautiful face is busy, but we got a beautiful game today. Lions versus Bears. Some news and notes to talk about. We got a little TV show for one of our Lions players coming out. Maybe we'll get to that. Some injuries. Some players may be coming back soon. But boys, how you doing, Julius? You were just in the gas line. So tell everyone what the hell a gas line is in Germany. Do you guys all? Is there like 1,000 people that have to get their gas at a time, or how's this work?
Okay, so first of all, that's a great question, Adam. Only in America do you actually pay for gas before you pump. In Germany, everywhere else in Europe, all over the world, you actually pump your gas first. Then you are trusted to go back into the gas station and pay for said gas. So one of the results of this process is that it causes total like gas lines at every pump because people leave their car at the pump and go inside, shop before they buy their gas, and then it's just waiting in line for a pump. And there's a limited amount of pumps. Gas is very expensive over here, and so this is pretty much what I'm dealing with.
This sounds terrible.
It's just one of the drawbacks of the few drawbacks.
Well, you know what's interesting? So I do deliveries for my job, and the truck I'm driving, the company, for gas, it's the same thing. There's a gas company card, so I guess technically, they could always just charge the company, but when we go to get gas, they just flip the switch and you pump your gas first, and then I go inside and pay.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to that. I have a gas card that they charge, so they can track me. They can kind of track me in a way, but this would never work in America. People would just run off at the pump, free tanks.
Dude, a funny story about running off at the pump. Back in like 2008, or had to have been like 2007, 2008, when gas prices were like $4 in Michigan, $5 in Michigan. It's terrible. I saw this lady. I was getting gas, and this lady was like on her phone. She had the gas pumping, right? And she looked and realized that she owed about $450 worth of gas to like, if she filled up her like big F like 350. And she was pissed because she asked the attendant to cut it off at 4. She's like, I want $40. And he never like put that in. I don't know how it happened, but somehow like she got $450 worth of gas in her car instead of $40 or like $45, I guess is probably what it was. And she was so pissed. She's furious. She's like yelling at this like attendant while I'm like pumping my gas. I'm just listening to this whole thing. Like my gas is already pumped. I'm just like standing there listening, watching this whole thing go down. She ends up getting into her car with the pump still in her F-350 and drives away. So the pump goes, the like actual pump is with her as she's driving away, and it slingshots back. It finally goes out of her car and slingshots back. And I don't know if she ever paid. Like, she must have stole $450 worth of gas, and it was nuts, dude. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. But that's what I'm saying is she was like, I'm not paying this, dude, and she just ran the fuck out. And I was like, oh.
America, that's America for you.
This is America. Whoop. This is America.
They just trust their populace over here.
That's great. Well, Nick, I assume you just get your gas simple like me, just go to the old pump,
siphon it from my neighbor's car. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's talk some Lions. Wait. Right,
no. I don't need to tell my siphoning my gas from my neighbor's car story. That's okay.
I was like, what's that, Nick? You want to share some secrets?
No. Onward and upward.
All right, so the Lions brought in veteran linebacker Bruce Irvin for not just the tryout, but we signed him and the full shebang. So I don't think he is going to be activated for today's game, but the official injury report, I guess, isn't out yet. But he is on the practice squad. And at first, this led me to believe, oh no, James Houston, is he going to be out longer than we expected? Is Rodrigo going to have to play fullback full time? What's going on here? Why did we randomly need to sign, I think he's like 35-ish. He's pretty old veteran linebacker, but still solid. And I like the depth and or experience and like the veteran presence that he'll bring. So if that's what we were looking for, then spot on, Brad. But if we were looking for a serious player, then we might get some problems moving forward. So, Nick, what were some of your thoughts on this Bruce Irvin signing that kind of came out of nowhere?
Yeah, homeboy just turned 36 18 days ago. Definitely a veteran presence. It's reminding me to a point of like Michael Brockers, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be too impactful on field. I don't think so. However, the experience is there as opposed to just getting some 24-year-old who hasn't been on a team and is still trying to make his way into the NFL, who may do some dumb, idiotic kind of same old Lions type of mistakes, penalties, hitting, like just trying to make a name for him. Whereas in Bruce Irvin, he knows who he is. He's got his money. He's not trying to go out here and prove that he's the best player and needs to be on a team for the next decade. He knows that this might be his last go around, and I think he understands that this team has a real good chance to move forward in the playoffs, in the season, in the 2023 season. So he is going to be an impactful player, more so in the locker room, in my opinion, than on the field. But any kind of veteran presence is always helpful. Even though we have Charles Harris, we still have a young defensive line. And Bruce Irvin's played linebacker. He's played edge rusher. He's been with Seattle. He's been with the Raiders. I think he was with the Bears even for a year, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited for it. No, this isn't like Chase Young, but we didn't need to mortgage a third-round pick or a second-round pick to get this guy. I know Chase Young would be way more beneficial in all the fans' eyes, but Brad Holmes doesn't care about the fans, and he doesn't care about, well, I mean, he cares about the fans, but he doesn't care what the fans' opinion on his team is, like on his roster. He just wants to get people that he thinks will help us out, and I bet him and Dan Campbell came to an agreement that said Bruce Irvin, even at 36 years old, will be helpful down the stretch. If any injuries occur, if James Houston does take a couple extra weeks to get back, we have a little bit of depth, and we know we need it because our pass rush has been quite rough. Hopefully we get the stride going this week against the bad Chicago Bears offensive line, but I like Bruce Irvin. I don't love it. I'm not buying his poster. I'm not getting his jersey. I didn't get a tattoo of him on my back, but I like the signing.
Absolutely. Julius, I don't even know what time. It was probably some like 2 a.m. when this news broke for you, so you probably saw it a little later. But Bruce Irvin, you think he brings anything special to the team?
Other than death, no, I don't. But I am under the assumption that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell only like a certain trait. I mean, they look for a certain trait in players. What it factor they're looking for, it can be debated. But we all know that they try to locate a certain trait in all their players. So if they think Bruce Irvin, who's been productive in his NFL veteranship career, has that factor to help the team, I'm all for it. Low risk, high reward, no issue at all.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. He's low risk, maybe not super high reward, but low risk reward. And he's a guy that, has Super Bowls. He's been on, the Legion of Boom and phenomenal defenses, Super Bowl head coaches. So I do think he can bring some experience, help out, young Jack Campbell, second-year Rodrigo, and just kind of let Anzalone, do his thing and not have to mentor, some of these young guys. So all in all, I like it. But the good news is James Houston doesn't seem like he's going to be taking too long to come back, as he was seen doing some workouts on the side, wasn't in a full practice, but he was doing some sideline workouts with the trainer and was getting some reps in. So James Houston, he was moving. It didn't seem like he was looking fragile, and it seems like, boys, we're going to be getting our problem back. So, Julius, if James Houston does come back, and if we see this player we saw from last year, this second half, 8 sacks in 8 games or whatever he had type player, how much do you think he can impact this defense? Because pass rush could use it.
He can impact it a heck of a lot, because there have been long periods of time where the Lions pass rush has gone non-existent, specifically against mobile quarterbacks for some reason. Geno Smith Well, I think we pressured him like 13, 14 times, didn't sack him with 2 backup tackles. Lamar Jackson, same kind of deal. Quite a few pressures, couldn't get to him. James Houston is a guy that finishes plays. I mean that is something that he started to become known for last year. He could have easily, if he played a full season, this is a double-digit sack potential kind of guy. And I think he's going to, he was a 6th-round pick. This guy's going to come back with a vengeance after this injury, and he's going to help out a ton, opposite Aiden Hutchinson.
I'm very nervous. I know we saw the video of him just running with sleds behind him or whatever it was, and it looked good. But here's 5 days ago, Dan Campbell was on 97. The 97 won the ticket and says this. Quote, we would love to, there again, we'd be shooting for December, but he's still got a ways to go. And that's probably more late December, if it's going to happen. So we don't know. We just don't know how anybody's going to come back from injury. I do think this is one you can come back from, and pretty quickly once it's healed and he's out and about, but he still has to get out there. He's got to practice. Get his feet under him, get the mental side of it. So I don't know. Until he's out there, it's hard to say what it's going to look like. To me, it sounds like we're not getting him back till like last week of the season, maybe week 17, week 18, January. I know he says late December, but for me, I'm always gonna like when Marvel says we're gonna have a movie coming out in 2024, I just automatically assume it's 2025. When a player is like, we'll be back from injury in December, I'm just gonna assume January. If you set yourself up for disappointment, you'll never be disappointed. So I have no faith that James Houston is coming back in December. Zero faith, zero chance, and that's kind of why I believe we went and got Bruce Irvin. Then you saw so that quote comes out, and then I think 2 days later we see him running with the sleds on his back, which is great for us to see. But I truly don't know how impactful that one video is. I think we're kind of just hoping and overhyping it. So I'm a little nervous on James Houston coming back really at all this season, maybe for the playoffs. So I'm honestly like where we need to start focusing on what we're going to do without James Houston. Let's just prepare that James Houston's out for season, even though he's not. Don't take it that way. Don't take that sentence out of context, but let's just prepare for that. And then let's start to get other players like ready to know that they are the guy for the rest of the season. No James Houston. And then if he does come back, hell, we're in a great predicament. So I'm nervous. That quote scared me a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Nick. I do believe we are getting James Houston back, but I think Campbell has decided I'm not putting him out until he's 100%. Not 60, not 70, not 95. It's 100%. And it's going to take until end of December, first week of January, week 17, maybe week 16. But yeah, I think like week 16 at earliest is when we'll see Houston back. And I think Bruce Irvin was kind of like make sure we got a piece there that's competent of playing football, because there's no telling that another Super Bowl, the 49ers go out and freaking grab this dude, since they, want to go grab every, decent defender out there. So I like the Lions reaching out to him, getting him before any other teams could. Granted, he's 36, so it's like maybe not a lot of teams want him, but it's good to beat everyone to the points.
Let's talk about this comment here that we just got from Damon. Shout out Damon for putting the comments out here. He says, "Bring back Sue. Bring back Sue." What are our thoughts, guys? Is that interest you at all or no?
See, my thing is, it interests me. I would like it, but bringing Bruce Irvin back, or not back, but bringing Bruce Irvin in tells me that's our veteran piece that we want. We're not going to go out and get two. Maybe if someone else gets injured, or just maybe Holmes.
You're breaking up, Adam. You're breaking up. Julius,
we would.
Okay, he's back. You're breaking up pretty bad, Adam. Yeah, I think Julius.
Yeah,
Nope, Adam. Nope. You recover yourself. Julius, tell us about tell us about Ndamukong Suh, what your thoughts are.
I mean, I would just absolutely love Ndamukong Suh. He was just one of those Lions figures that kind of disappeared. You know, he was just like this force for like 4 or 5 seasons, and then he left. And then, like, there was nothing said. Like, I don't ever hear Suh's comments about the Lions or Detroit. He misses the city. He liked the city. You know, are we going to invite him back in these Lions veteran nights? You know, when we invite back former greats. Like, is he going to be a part of the legacy of the Lions? He would definitely be a part of it if he rejoined the team right now and helped us go on a playoff run. So I'm absolutely in love with the idea of Ndamukong Suh being a Lion again.
In love with the idea. Oh boy. All right. Yeah, especially with Isaiah Buggs injured today. Like, Suh could be quite impactful. So I'm on the fence. I don't know. I would love to have Suh back, but I don't know, man. He's like, how old is he now? 30? He's got to be like 36 too, right?
36, probably, yeah.
But he's in nature. He's like Calvin Johnson. He's like Barry Sanders. You could bring these guys back right now and they might produce. That's how good they are in the history of their sport.
Speaking of Barry Sanders, on Tuesday, my birthday, we get a Barry Sanders Amazon Prime documentary. 1 to 10. What do we like? What's our excitement for this documentary?
10.
Adam?
I think excitement 10. Like, what I'm expected to see, I think it'll be like a quality 8.
Okay. Now, we've seen some Barry documentaries. There's been one on NFL Network. I even believe, where else did I see one? I've seen a couple of Barry documentaries, maybe just on VHS back in the day growing up. But for anyone who doesn't know what a VHS is, Google it. But I'm excited to see this Barry. I don't think it's going to tell me anything new. I don't think there's any new news to come out. But when you get a documentary that comes out on your birthday about your favorite player growing up, like, it's going to be pretty special. So I'm definitely excited for it. Watch it. Maybe like we'll watch it on Tuesday, and then possibly I'll have all my family over. I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year. I'm cooking the turkey. I'm cooking the taters. I'm cooking everything. Gonna have it all done by noon. So game starts at 12:30. But while I'm cooking it, I think maybe we'll have that going on the TV until it's game time, until it's kickoff. So I'm down with that. We got a solid 9, Philip. Love to hear it. I was just curious what everyone thought about Bye Bye Barry. Adam, what's next on the list?
No, we got a couple injuries. So although we did bring in Bruce Irvin, we did lose Big V and obviously the couple Bugs and then Jonah Jackson, who just cannot stay healthy, Nick. But we were talking about this before the show, and Jonah Jackson's health, it could come to a benefit in the end game because you can't imagine he's going to be able to ask for the bag, you know, only playing 6-7 games this season. So if the Lions want to bring him back on a 1-year cheap deal, let him prove he can stay healthy for a season, then send him off, I'd absolutely love an extra year from Jonah if it's cheap, you know?
Yeah, we did. We talked about this and we were like, Dan, Jonah, like, we're going to have to re-sign Jonah Jackson next year. And then it's like, I said, well, if he continues to be injured, we might be able to get kind of a discount on him, which, you know, we don't wish that upon anyone, but if he's going to be injured, I mean, shit, maybe I'll take a couple extra $1 million off his deal. I'm a huge Jonah Jackson fan. I hate that he's not playing in this game. Pro Bowler rookie year, just came out the gates like ready to play, ready to be a Lion. And I think he's the most undervalued piece of our offensive line. Like, you hear a lot of people talk about Ragnow and Sewell and Decker, and even Graham Glasgow right now is more talked about in the Detroit media and the Detroit fan base than Jonah Jackson because he's got Michigan ties. He was here before. He's goofy, has a mustache, dressed like an emo kid for Halloween. Like, Jonah Jackson is just that. He's just the, what do you call it? The piece de la resistance. I don't know how you say that. He's the star on the tree. He's the angel on the tree. He is just, without really taking over a lot of media and a lot of quotes and a lot of newspapers, he just sticks his ground, keeps his mouth shut, does his job. Right. Grit. Detroit Lion player through and through. So I hate losing him today. I think Chicago is going to be a little bit harder than we're all expecting with Herbert back and Fields back. I don't know. I'm a little curious. I'm curious on how our defense plays against this rushing quarterback. But our offense, I kind of wanted Jonah Jackson because, as Adam and I talked about before the show too, Chicago's got one of the best run defenses in the league. Best run defenses in the league over the last, I think, Adam, you said 8 weeks, they were number 1 in just rushing yards allowed, which maybe it's because their team is so bad, teams are passing on them, whatever. There's a lot of excuses. Regardless, if you box score watch, they got one of the best rushing defenses. And for us to get our run game going with Gibbs and Monty, I just would have liked to see Jonah Jackson in there. So I'm pretty salty that Jackson isn't playing this week. But like Adam said, if it can get us a couple $1 million off of his deal when we re-sign him this year, all right, I guess I'll take 1 step back to go 5 steps forward.
Love it. Julius, how impactful are we gonna, or how much, I guess, will we miss Jonah and or Big V? Because Jonah just, it seems like he's not gonna stay healthy for the entire year. Like, I feel like if he gets healthy for 2 more weeks, by week 16, week 17, he might be ruled out. So if we don't have either of those 2 guys for the remaining of the season, granted we might have Jonah back for the rest of the season, but we'll just play this little game of he's not going to be there. How much will we miss them? And do you think Graham Glasgow fills the role exactly how he needs?
Yes, I think Graham Glasgow filled the role exactly the way we need. Jonah Jackson, it kind of hurts. He's one of the cogs of our team. Our offensive line is the bedrock of our team, and Jonah Jackson is one of those rocks on that bed. And without him, we're going to be depending on a few guys that are not as steady. Kyle Yodi Awasaka, I believe his name is. Dan Skipper, friend of the show. I would love to see him play guard again because he does it amazingly. So you're depending on a few, not Pro Bowl guard type guys like Jonah Jackson is. So it's a little worrisome. However, I think we've seen throughout this season quite a few times, the depth has been tested. And when these guys had to step in, they have not caused a huge gaping problem at their spot. Like, I remember in so many years past, the Lions offensive line was just if it suffered one injury, it was catastrophic. Like, Matthew Stafford was about to he's about to get sacked like 8 times. And even when the offensive line was healthy, it wasn't as reliable. So I feel good with Jared. I feel like Jared Goff, he works the pocket well. He knows how much time he gets. He get hit one time and he changes his rhythm. He knows where the pressure is coming from. I'm not that worried about it, even though I would love Jonah Jackson to continue to play for our team, come back from injury.
Thank God we still got Hank Fraley and that offensive line coach. You know what I mean? He'll coach anyone up.
Great point, Nick. Great point. Nobody's talking about Hank Fraley and how he just coaches these guys up. All these guys that have to fill in when we have injuries and they're not causing any big problems. That's a testament to Coach
Exactly.
Fraley.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Bears versus Lions. The thing we've all been waiting to talk. I know Julius has. He wants to scream out Bears are trash so bad, and I'm right there with you, Julius. Bears are trash, baby. But let's talk some keys to victory and some little things in this game. So first things first, Justin Fields and Khalil Herbert are making their returns as they have both missed 3-ish, 4-ish games between them. And now Fields can grip the football again. He didn't have a leg injury, so his legs are going to be still same old. So containing Fields, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Just keep him under 60 yards. His over-under is 48.5, which is it's not relatively high, but just make him pass the ball. And I know that's what we tried to do with Lamar, and it worked horribly, but Lamar is a little bit better than Justin Fields. And I don't think Justin Fields can pass at all. So make him pass, make him throw the ball, keep him in contain, and just stop the run. I don't think Khalil Herbert or Donta Foreman will be huge against the Lions. The Bears also did acquire a stud edge rusher in Montez Sweat, who I think already has racked up a couple of sacks for the Bears. So he will be a name to watch. But if he is on penning that whole game, then we won't need to worry about him at all. So Julius, let's talk about the big old Bears game and how are we going to get this job done? How do we get this 35-point victory?
The way the Lions get a 35-point victory over the Bears is simple. Don't allow Justin Fields to run for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns on you. Because honestly, guys, that is my only worry in this game. I am very confident that the Lions offense will do work. I don't care if the Bears have the second ranked run defense in the league. I expect our run offense to run all over the Bears. I expect our pass offense to pass all over the Bears. I'm very confident on that side of the ball. Defensively, I'm not worried about Justin Fields dissecting us the way Justin Herbert dissected us last week. I'm worried about Justin Fields running all over our heads because I've seen it before. And I've seen this season the Lions continue to have issues with mobile quarterbacks. So, Lions fans out there, if you're worried about one thing in this game, is that Justin Fields has a career game against the Lions, exposes us bad again, just like Lamar Jackson did, just like Geno Smith did, practically like Justin Herbert did. Hopefully that doesn't happen because Justin Fields is not that good of a quarterback. He is struggling very, very much. He can't handle pressure well. He can't read defenses well. There should be no issue. All we got to do is contain him. That's it. The Lions win by 31 points.
Love it.
All right. Justin Fields has rushed in the last 2 games combined 279 yards against us in the last 2 games. In week 10 last year, he rushed for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. We won 31-30. In week 17 last year, he rushed for 132 yards, no touchdowns. Now, in both of those, he's thrown for 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions combined, but he runs on us. Luckily, Detroit this year, when it comes to rushing quarterbacks, we haven't been terrible, I would say, Julius. I'd argue that we have allowed 140 rushing yards to the opposing quarterback, which is 21st in the NFL out of 32. So pretty good, actually. We contain him. We contain him, and then Lamar Jackson rips us apart. As Adam said, I think he's spot on. Justin Fields sucks at throwing the fucking football. Like, I'm sorry. He's just fucking trash. And if we can contain him, which will be hard to do, obviously he's averaging over 130 yards on the ground against us. So, I mean, it's going to be hard. That was last year, this year, but still, it's nerve-wracking. We can contain him and just make him pass the ball. It won't be the way that Lamar Jackson diced us up. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in DJ Moore. I don't believe in Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, Khalil Herbert, as much as I do Zay Flowers, OBJ, Mark Andrews. Hopefully he gets better and ready for next year. But I'm very curious to see how we handle Fields. Like, this game could be 31-30, and that sucks. This game could be 41-10 like it was last year, and that's awesome. However, in that 41-10 win, I believe Justin Fields got injured in the third quarter, the second quarter, and we played, and it wasn't that far away of it as a score when he was playing healthy. For some reason, shitty-ass Bears quarterbacks have our name, have our number. Same old Lions, same old Lions. No, that's just a stat. That's just a stat. Like, we need to be better against the Bears quarterbacks. I personally was hoping that Tyson Bagent was going to play this game. And I think we'll fucking dominate Justin Fields. And I think Aiden Hutchinson will get another pick on him. And, you know, we'll have all this fun. We'll watch this game. But ultimately, it's a little nerve-wracking. So I am nervous for Fields to be back. I'm not nervous for Khalil Herbert. That motherfucker sucks. Our rush defense is fucking dominant. So I don't care about their rushing game. I don't care if it's Deonta Foreman, Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert. It does not matter. Fields is their top rusher, and we're going to have to do what we can to contain him. So I'm excited to see this game, honestly. I'm very excited. Let's see what Michael Bennett has to say. Amon-Ra over 300 receiving yards today just for Field to trash the Bears in interviews for another year. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown trashing the Bears, and I saw the video today, this morning, first video I saw on Twitter, wake up and I see him walk over to the Bears fans at draft day, puts his thumb down. They don't do anything. He walks over to the Lions, and we're just like, let's go. Such a good video. And then all the times he gets to dog him with his brother on the show, which we get 3 brothers playing in this game today. It's going to be quite interesting. 2 of which on opposing sides, 1 of which on the Lions. So that's exciting. But anyways, I'm sorry I'm ranting, Adam. Nervous a little bit that Fields is playing. Don't really care that Herbert's playing.
No, you're all good. But I'm trying to decide where I want to go with this because you brought up Amon-Ra, and I forgot to mention the news of Amon-Ra. So we're going to spin real quick, pivot. Amon-Ra is going to be appearing on a Netflix sequel for quarterbacks where our wide receiver is going to be on there. So I don't know if they're going to do wide receivers as the sequel or if they're just going to make the sequel NFL players and they're just, you couldn't get quarterbacks because obviously that was the problem. They went out and got superstar Amon-Ra St. Brown. So no one is disappointed about that. Anyone who doesn't really know him, Amon-Ra is like, he's a funny dude. He's got a calm, just like, not cocky personality, but like he knows who he is. He knows what happened to him, who slept on him, and just his whole persona. I just love this dude, and just to be able to know that cameras were following him around the first 8 weeks or whatever still might be, and what we saw for Pat Mahomes, Mariota, and Kirk Cousins, that stuff was awesome. That behind-the-scenes stuff, we were all talking about, oh, please Goff, maybe Stafford, and now we get Amon-Ra. Honestly, that might be better than Goff. He's one of the best players to have cameras follow him around. It's like Penny, Hutch, Amon-Ra, Goff probably, and a few others. But ultimately, I am so stoked for this. Netflix, this is all you need to do. You suckered me into another membership. So if you want to keep taking my money, go get some more Lions players to interview. Maybe bring the Bye Bye Barry onto Netflix or figure that out. But all in all, I am stoked for this. What are you boys thinking?
I'll lead us off. I'm super excited about this because I am the biggest Amon-Ra St. Brown fan. I love his podcast. I love what he does. I love what he does on the field, how he represents himself. Like, he is just so awesome. And this show was a keeper for me. So I was all about anything. But what I want to switch to, I'm going to pivot. I think we just need to have not a show called Quarterbacks. We need a show called The Lions. And let's just follow 3 Lions players around all year, right? So it's kind of like Hard Knocks in season, but we'll just follow Hutchinson around, Sewell around, and Amon-Ra St. Brown around to start the show off, right? And those 3, it wouldn't have to be Hard Knocks, so you don't have to show like make sure you're not showing plays or anything like this, and it'll just be super fun. So I'm so excited for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Julius?
I'm super excited as well. He's a lot of people might have heard on the show before. Amon-Ra is German. He's from Germany. He's half German anyway. But he hosts his camps here every summer, for the German youth. He tries to spread the game over here in Europe. And I'm hoping they make that a part of the show because guess what? I'm going to be in the house showing my support for my man, the Sun God.
Dude, if you get on the show, I'm going to do some backflips for you, bro.
Listen, me and my son will be in the all whites, 14s on our backs, and we're going to be ready to show support for the heart and soul of the Detroit Lions, the greatest steal, the greatest gift that we've ever received.
Over under, oh my God, what's his name? John Brown, I believe that's his name, Amon-Ra's dad. Over under like 15 appearances on the show. Like, I'll set it at that. I think John Brown, like, if you guys ever watched the Amon-Ra St. Brown documentary back in the day where it talks about with his 3, it wasn't about Amon-Ra, it was just about the St. Brown family. He likes to be in front of the camera. John Brown does. And so I have a feeling that he's gonna be on this show a couple times, whether it's in the lifting room or maybe at dinner with just the boys and the family, I should say. Whatever it is, I think he's not LeVar Ball-esque, but yeah, tiptoeing a line of just kind of being a little bit more than needed on the show. What do we think? Do you think we're gonna get a lot of John Brown?
Over,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's definitely a towering influence on the St. Brown brothers. So yes. I can definitely see him.
He had him in the
LeVar Ball. He's like LeVar Ball, just quieter.
You got your kids in the weight room like he did at 9 years old?
Not like he did.
No, because no one in the world does.
Amon Ra, they had 8-packs and was doing 100-pound curls. My son ain't doing that at 10 years old.
No, he shouldn't be. That's
starting off slow, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not Mr. Universe either, so you know.
Right. No.
So yes, the Amon Ra, and I expect he's not going to be the only guy in there. I'm sure they're going to bring a couple other guys, which would be good to to just have see some other players behind the scenes.
Didn't Stafford say he was doing it or no?
So there was a rumor actually, and it was a big rumor that went around, and Stafford didn't shoot it down, but he was like, I'm only focused on football right now. I'm not going to talk about that. And so maybe there's a chance, that we do get Stafford, which would be super cool.
Dude, if we get Stafford and St. Brown on the same show, that's the coolest show in the world, dude. I'm all about it.
100%. But let's dive back into this game, wrap it up real quick. Yeah, Nick, Fields, he is going to be a problem for us. I was too hoping for Tyson Badgett, because if we got Tyson Badgett, that's just a free space. You're collect 200 from Go, whatever. It's just easy money on that one. And ultimately, we're not getting it. So we're going to have a little bit of, maybe a pissed off Justin Fields. Justin Fields, who's honestly playing for his Bears job, maybe. He might have a job elsewhere, but it might not be for Chicago. If he plays bad enough, he's getting shipped out and they're taking Caleb Williams. And if he plays good enough, maybe they make him the guy and they do the whole, let's trade the first overall pick again and get a haul for you. And that could work for him. So Justin Fields, he's playing for something. It's not like the whole season's broken like it is for the entire Bears. So Fields, he might give us problems. But I think we are going to see, I think Fields is going to hit the 100-yard mark. I think we're just going to let him run. And I think we're going to just take away every pass and just contain him in a way of just not letting any big plays. I think it'll just be short, and the Lions will just, their offense is so powerful that I think we'll just get up 2 scores, and when you're up that much in the second half, you just can't run the ball. There's not enough time. So I think that will happen. And then finally, David Montgomery revenge game, baby. He's been waiting for it all season long. First time we're playing the Bears. First time he's playing the Bears. Can finally show them, why didn't you guys bring me back? You stuck with Khalil Herbert and brought in old man Akiri Donta Foreman over me. So Dave Montgomery, he is out for vengeance. And if you guys want an absolute lock of the week, Dave Montgomery is going to score a touchdown. This is my reason why, not just because it's a revenge game, not just because the Bears are a terrible defense. The run defense is good, but when you're on the goal line, nothing stops Dave Montgomery. And the greatest piece of all, Jahmyr Gibbs in an interview said, yeah, I was coming off the field for the touchdown, and Montgomery said, you want this one? And I said, yeah. So I turned back in the huddle, ran back in, and I scored the touchdown next play, and it felt great. So why did Montgomery tell Gibbs to go back in and score that touchdown? It's because Monty wants them all this week. He wants every single opportunity. He's going to, even if Gibbs is on the 1-yard line after running it 80 yards down, Monty's going to check himself in and say, this one's mine, dude. I need this. So
we're going to see Monty run off the sideline as Gibbs is going to score a touchdown, and he just knocks him out of bounds at the one. Like, all right, you go out of bounds. I want this touchdown, God damn it.
Honestly. But yes, Dave Montgomery, he is going to be, yet again, my MVP of the game, and I think he's going to be a big part of getting the job done. I also do think Goff has a big game. But real quick, score predictions, boys, and who's your MVP?
Let me lead, Julius. Let me get back to where we were on our May
flashback.
Little flashback. At this point, I had the Lions sitting at 6-2-1. Adam had 7-2. Julius had 7-2. So congrats, boys. We're fucking awesome. I don't know why I predicted a tie, but other than that, we were all fucking dead on. I got Lions. I had Lions winning. This is May. I had Lions 31-24 victory. Adam had 41-10 victory. Julius had 50-13 victory. So just some fun predictions back in May. I'll also lead us off on this. I think my peak performer of the day. Last week, I think I was pretty dead on with Amon-Ra St. Brown being my peak performer. I knew he was going to have a big game. I knew the Chargers defense was going to be terrible, and we're going to need to pass the ball a lot. So I felt very proud of myself after that. I am going to say today's player of the game, it seems like it should be like Monty, but realistically, I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs. And the reason I'm saying Jahmyr Gibbs is not because of his rushing per se, but his passing. We've seen teams pass the ball to their running backs against Chicago. Austin Eckler a few weeks ago, 90 plus yards. Kamara a couple weeks ago, 40 plus yards. I just think that we're going to give a lot of the carries to Monty today in the revenge game, but we're going to allow Gibbs to catch and run. He gives our best yak player, better than JMO, better than St. Brown. Give Gibbs the ball and a quick flat, a quick screen, a quick slant, somewhere within the first 5 yards and let him run. He breaks tackles better than any running back I've seen for the Lions since Barry. Like I can't think of a running back that broke tackles as fluently and as carefree as Gibbs does. So I like him a lot. And I think we are going to see a 5 to 7 catch game from Gibbs for over 80, 90 receiving yards and a tutty. So I'm going to go Gibbs for my peak performer, and my Lions Bears score prediction will be Detroit 34, Chicago 13. 34-13 Detroit.
Woo! I love it. I love it. I'm sticking to my guns. 41-10, baby. I loved what I said earlier this year in the summer, whenever we did those. Dave Montgomery, revenge game. I think he's going for 3 touchdowns yet again, like he did against a former NFC North opponent. He is going to crown himself king of the North, best running back of the North, and ultimately one of the best players in the North. I'll say it. But Dave Montgomery is going to go off, 3 touchdown performance. Might not have the yards like the touchdown should go. I think they're going to be little goal lines with Amon-Ra going down at the 1, like we know he loves to do. But yeah, I agree with you, Nick, though. I do think Gibbs is going to have a lot of those yak yards and just run after the catch and just turning the Jets on, because once he goes horizontal, he gets the edge and then he turns vertical and he's gone. So Monty is my peak performer and a 41-10 victory for the Lions.
Like it. I like it. I'm going to go ahead. First, I'm going to start off real quick, a few keys. I think this is a very important game, guys. Like, we've won 6 straight division games. We have a chance to kind of just put our throats on the Bears franchise. I feel like the Bears are kind of in the mode that we were a couple years ago, where they got all the draft picks and they started to reload, and then they started to try to change the culture. However, their quarterback situation is different. Their coaching situation is different. I feel like the Bears are an inferior opponent. So another key is Justin Fields. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, he is really the main threat to go off to the point to where we lose the game, right? So he just has to be locked down at all costs. He has to be contained. And that leads me to my peak performer of the week, which is Aiden Hutchinson. We've seen Aiden Hutchinson, he's not really putting up the sack numbers many would hope he would like to put up, even though he's been a monster in all areas of the field, and all grading wise on the field. He needs to have, 2. I could see him having 2-3 sacks in this game, another pick. So he's definitely my peak performer of the week. And I'm gonna go with a score prediction of Lions 40, Bears 10.
So you're 1 point away from Adam. He went 41-10. You're going 40-10. I love that.
Foot throat. Breaking news.
Let's throw that out there. All right. That was awesome. Anything you want to talk about before we wrap it up? Anything that's been on your mind? I know. Put you on the spot.
Not really. Even though, let me take the banner off real quick, because I think I have a wild kind of hot prediction. J-Mo has his first truly breakout game of his career today against Chicago at Ford Field. I'm talking about truly break. I'm not talking about one catch for 40 yards and touchdown, like the one J-Mo bomb, the one J-Mo end around, and then that's it. No, I'm talking like 5 to 7 catches over 100 yards, 1 or 2 touchdowns. I'm talking about a breakout game. That's just something I'm feeling. I feel like it's going to happen eventually, and I feel like today is a great day for it to happen. But that's about it.
I agree, especially because we had Antoine Randall, wide receivers coach, come out and say that it's coming. And not only that, Dan Campbell, who, in my opinion, has spoken pretty roughly about Jameson Williams to start this season, not really giving him a lot of credit, not a lot of due. However, even he came out to say shit's turning around. He's earning his stripes. Antoine Randall tried to put the rest of the NFL on notice, saying it's coming, J-Mo's coming. So I like that. I really like that. To me, a breakout game for J-Mo would be not just yards. I actually don't care how many yards he has. For me, for J-Mo to have a breakout game is 5+ catches in a game. That might not sound like a lot, but to me, that's a breakout game for J-Mo, who's only caught 2 at most in a game. So 5 catches for Jameson Williams. If we can accumulate that to 80 to 100 yards, that would be outstanding. And then a tutty, of course. I think that's a huge breakout game. It's not like we're looking for 300 yards and 15 catches from him, because that would be a breakout game, but that's just kind of improbable. Let's just get J-Mo to do wide receiver things and not wide receiver 5 things. So I like that. I want to shout out Kirby Joseph. I believe he's had a pick every game in the last 3 games, I think is what it is. He is just coming back strong right now. There was some worry about him to start the season, but he is looking good. Our secondary, I know it got torched by the Chargers, but it is what it is. I still like Sutton. I still like Branch. I still like Tracy. I still like Kirby. I still like Seatbelt Gang, Jerry Jacobs. So I'm ready to see our secondary kind of shut Justin Fields down in the passing game, which isn't hard to do. I do think you, me, and Adam could probably shut Justin Fields down in the passing game. So let's just have a good day. Appreciate everyone listening, commenting, watching. Follow us on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere, man. Appreciate you listening.
Hey, shout out to Ford Field. I want to hear y'all loud. Don't forget, it feel like it's been forever since the Lions had a home game, but we have the best home field advantage in the NFL right now. Keep it up.
Yes, keep it up this week. And then we got another game right back at it on Thanksgiving. We'll do another show before Thanksgiving, hopefully Wednesday-ish. Thank you again. Go Lions!